On this episode of the Halloween 365 podcast, you know it, you feel it. It's that horrible wave of dread. It's the Halloween hangover.
It's coming. Leave me alone. He doesn't believe in it. Don't you know what happens on Halloween? Yeah, we get candy.
Welcome back to the Halloween 365 podcast.
Where it's the only podcast that is horror 24/7 and Halloween 365, ladies and gentlemen.
You got that correct. For anybody that is a new listener, I am your host, Justin, and that was your other host, Jeremy. We're missing Chadwick. It seems that we've got some explaining to do.
Oh, we got lots of explaining to do, but you know what? It's okay, because we're all a little bit hungover from Halloween, from the drinking, the candy, the whole experience of Halloween, and that's what we're here for today, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. So whether you are 6 or 66, whatever you did on Halloween, or if you enjoy the holiday, then you're currently in a holiday hangover, or a Halloween hangover, as we like to call it, where you're just grasping at everything that's left of it. You're getting the stuff on clearance. You're feeling the feelings. You're wishing that you did this and wishing that you did that, and plotting and planning for next year and dreading the upcoming holidays. Well, that's what this episode is about. And as stated, we've got a lot of explaining to do because we did not have a Halloween episode. We have been plagued recently with a lot of issues. Our Chad, the one that is missing today, his internet fiber optics has been out for, I don't know, 2 weeks before Halloween, something like that. And he does all of our editing. So this one is going to be probably strictly audio. But that contributed to the Halloween episode and why we did not have one for you. So with that, we apologize, and we hope to make it up to you in this one. If you're a fan of only Chads, then I guess this episode's not going to be for you.
You know what, though? But we're going to do everything that we can to make up for that. And we're going to make you a fan of me, Jeremy, and Justin. So get ready to dive in, ladies and gentlemen.
No, we're sure as hell gonna try to make you a fan.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. No, because it's Halloween hangover. I've got the Carolina Tar Heels UNC head, what's it called?
Beanie. Yeah, beanie.
Yeah, the beanie on. I was going to call it a headband. Yeah, I'm ready. We're here.
So the beanies for the hangover for the college kids, right?
Exactly. It's exactly what it's
here
for. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Kenneth Copeland knows. Look at that. So, yeah, this episode, as we stated, is our Halloween hangover episode, which we're going to get to later in the episode. So if you're here just for that, you can skip ahead. Before that, we've got a couple of things that we are going to go over because even though that Halloween is gone, sadly, we are going to go over some Halloween news, that Halloween/horror movie news, in case you guys have missed it. But if you are a Halloween horror fan, you probably are already up to date on all of these. So, starting off with the most recent Halloween and horror movie news is going to be the fact that Friday the 13th is getting a prequel series that is coming to Peacock called Crystal Lake.
So it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was wondering because I had there's a girl I'm talking to, and she's a horror fanatic, and she sent that to me earlier today, and I was so confused. I was like, is this real? Is it not real? So I'm so happy to hear that it's real.
Yeah, it's 100% real. I don't know how to take that, honestly, because you know me, I am a fan of Friday the 13th, the entire series, and that to me, I don't know. I don't know. So what we're going to be seeing? No Michael, just his mom. I mean,
So no,
not Michael. No Jason, just his mom. Is that what we're?
so you know what this makes me think of? Chucky is leading a new genre ahead of us because the Chucky series came out last year, the second season came out this year, and now that I'm kind of scared now. Now that this is out, I'm kind of scared now because I mean this could be something. Yeah, this could be something. This could definitely be something. The Friday the 13th series with the Camp Crystal Lake, you could definitely do that.
Yes.
But what if they try to move further than that? That scares me.
Oh yeah, that's the most terrifying part. But I would assume that they're just going to try to take it all the way up to when the mother dies. So
Oh no.
my curious question is, was she just like a murderer that was constantly killing little kids for being bullies to her son? I thought that it was just a one-off deal where she finally snapped and started doing it. I'm confused as to what they're trying to do.
If I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction, I'm going to go ahead and say that they will give us just a tad bit of the mother, like maybe a kind of a preview of it. And I mean, who knows? The first season could be entirely about the mother. I could be wrong, but I think they're going to give us just a taste of it. And then from there on, it's going to be, oh, this Camp Crystal Lake's not haunted. It's all just faux. It's a fake. And I think that they're going to move forward with Jason from there. I could be wrong, but who knows?
Sorry about that. I keep hitting stuff over here. I mean, I don't know. So there's not much more that I can say without more detail on what's exactly going to happen. So I guess we're just going to leave it in the hands of Peacock and see how that turns out. But
Sci-Fi done good with Chucky, I will say.
Yeah,
so
okay,
hopefully...
so that's a one-off, which is funny because Sci-Fi they're not known for their out-of-this-world series.
Right, so hopefully Peacock can do good with this. I've got hopes for it.
I mean, we'll see. I'm not gonna automatically start shitting on it. We'll see. But also, moving on into the news, coming to, and they've already announced it, Universal Halloween Horror Nights in 2023. One of their main haunted fright houses that they do is going to be a Chucky house.
See? Takes it right back to it. That's how well that series has done, dude.
It's just so because of the revival of the television series when they come out with that television series and everybody liked it and they like what they're doing with that. I guess I haven't watched it. You and Chad.
No. See, that's the thing. It's not even just a revival of it. It was the fact that the first season done so good. I've not watched the second season, and I hate that I haven't because I was such a fan of the first season. But the first season was so good. You have to move forward with this. This is a phenomenal connection with the movie series. Anybody that's a horror fan, watch this series. That's all I've got to say about that.
Okay. So it's recommended by at least 2 out of 3 hosts on the Halloween 365 podcast. And apparently Halloween Horror Nights is all aboard with that as well because it's getting its own horror house in 2023. So if you guys are avid visitors of the Horror Nights, you got that to look forward to. Also, in Halloween/horror movie news, you know that if you've listened to this podcast, we talk about cryptids and everything like that, paranormal, anything that falls under what would be considered Halloween or horror. And so that is the reason that I'm going to report on this. It's just a brief report, but it's something that maybe fans out there that are listening are looking forward to. A new Japanese Godzilla movie is coming November 2023.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. So the Japanese are going to take it into their own hands and do a new one. Obviously, they've done them before, but they're going to be doing a new one in November 2023.
Oh, so this is strictly just their film.
It's a Japanese Godzilla movie. It's not going to be following any of the other Godzilla storylines that I know of. It could just be like the origin story all over again. We don't have a lot of information as of right now. Also, in movie information, Scream 6 release date has changed to a bit earlier. It's going to be March 2023. It's, he's coming to New York.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
I mean, come on. It's the concrete jungle where dreams are made of.
No, I don't care. No. It should have died with Wes Craven. That's all I'm going to say.
The other movie, the other Scream movie, I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy it.
No,
I was kind of getting into it with the callbacks they were doing, and then one of the people gets killed. Okay, no way. You've had enough time to watch the new Scream movie, so
yeah, fucking spoilers, Brady.
Yeah,
let's go.
Dewey dies, man. He gets killed, and it's not just the fact that he gets killed; it's the fact that he gets killed by two younger adults that have nothing to fucking do with the storyline. They set you up to where you want to believe that it is the niece and nephew of Randy. That's what you start thinking. But it's just two fans from the internet. They literally took everybody shitting on the Scream movies, and they're like, oh, well, what if two Reddit guys decided to take it into their own hands? So it's, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the Scream stuff at all. Not the new one, anyway.
No, I mean, so you know what I think about it? Like, I completely agree with you. I don't care that Dewey died. I mean,
it's okay to kill him, but I didn't want it to be them.
Yeah, no, it upsets me. I didn't. Yeah, exactly what you said. It should have been Randy's. What was it? His niece and nephew. Yeah, it should have been them.
Somebody that's at least connected to the storyline. You know
what
I mean?
Yeah, there's nobody connected to the storyline. No. Hold on, and another spoiler alert. Except for the fact that the daughter of Skeet Ulrich, what was his name? Billy. Daughter of Billy, she's hallucinating and seeing him. I didn't like that. I'm sorry, I did not like that. Mm-hmm. I didn't like because Scream is not a supernatural film, ladies and gentlemen. I did not like that.
No, it
Fuck
was
that.
No. The whole thing was off. Threw you for a loop. Didn't seem like a normal Scream movie. So, anyways, yeah, the new Scream has been moved up to was it March? Yes, March 2023 as when it's been moved up to. So there is a little bit of horror news, and it's the final piece that I've got. Halloween and horror news that I'm quite excited for. First, we got a report saying that the movie 28 weeks later is getting a third movie called 28 months later. The first thing that came out about it a couple of days ago said 28 months later, finally coming together ? That the director has teased a renewed interest in the script. Okay. And I was like, oh, super pumped about that. That's going to be awesome. And then we've got a recent report stating that Alex Garland, the main dude in the first one, Alex Garland, the writer, has finished the script for 28 months later, and Cillian Murphy, the main dude from the first one, has been quoted saying, I'm 100% down to return.
Oh, please.
Yeah. Yes.
Please.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I would love it.
We need it. We need it so bad. 28 months later with Cillian Murphy, and after he's gotten big as a Peaky fucking blinder.
Oh, yeah. No, I would love it, dude. Oh, my God, I would love it. Because this is, in all honesty, it's one of my favorite zombie could you call it a franchise or it's just two movies?
I don't know. Well, I mean, when the third one comes out, you can call it a franchise.
Okay. Well, I mean, as far as just zombie films in general, it's one of my favorites of all time. Like, I will fall asleep to this movie, and I'll also wake up scared as fuck hearing the music. So I love it. I love every single bit about it. I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
Sorry. Okay. That movie, when it came out, revitalized the zombie genre for me, honestly.
Honestly, if I just want to take away from this real quick, I know me and you, the first horror movie we went and seen by ourselves was Dawn of the Dead, but at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, before this, we went with our mother, and I don't know if it was before Dawn of the Dead or or if it was after Dawn of the Dead, but we went and we seen this with her in theaters together. Am I wrong? Because I remembered watching it in theaters and it
I
scared the
don't
shit out of
remember
me.
watching this in
No,
theaters.
no, are you kidding me? We went to Tinseltown,
No.
dude. You
Okay.
are
No.
you?
Wait. Stop. You're
Oh
giving
my
away
god!
locations. No,
I'm sorry,
I do not
but
recall.
that's why I love this movie so much because it scared the living shit out of me because I
I
seen
don't
it in
recall
theaters.
watching it in theater. Not me personally. Anyways, 28 months later, it's looking more and more likely that it's going to happen. I'm pumped about it. A side note that's got nothing to do with horror or Halloween that was just news. There's also going to be a Dodgeball Part 2, and I'm pretty fucking pumped about that. Vince Vaughn, Justin Long, and Ben Stiller.
It's not confirmed. It's not
They know
confirmed.
the only thing that's holding them back is Ben Stiller doing it. That's the only thing that's stopping the entire thing.
That's the granddaddy of
Anyways,
them all.
I know he's the one. He's the whole reason that the movie even went down. But Vince Vaughn's got a script, essentially. So yeah, that was the Halloween horror news so far. Now November 4th, after Halloween has faded from our clutches, but don't be too scared because that's not the only Halloween or horror thing on this podcast, because coming up next, we have a wonderful segment that we like to call
It Came from Reddit.
That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. So anybody that has listened to the podcast, you know exactly what It Came From Reddit is. And if you have not, and this is your first go around, It Came From Reddit is us going through Reddit, essentially, and looking for true ghost stories that are posted by users, and we're going to determine if they're likely, if they're unlikely, if they're full of shit, or if Queen Jelly Roll is just talking about the stone janitors that have fishbowl parties in the school whenever everybody's gone.
Damn you, Queen Jelly Roll.
Yeah, we know about you, Queen Jelly Roll. You and those damn janitors. Oh god, they're back. They came back. The fucking janitors. That's an
Smoking
episode that
that
everybody has to go back to. Is
Hey, you know what?
Stone janitors.
That's good for a Halloween hangover. Pass me that Dutchie over here.
Yeah, it's a good episode. I can't remember which one it was, but everybody needs to go back and listen to that. So
You're hungover. Pass that Dutchie this way.
Good segment, fun segment, but essentially some of these are actually really creepy stories, which is going to be the story that we're going to talk about today, which is titled Encounter. And this one was posted by Daisy Smacky on Reddit. Daisy Smacky, or it could be Daisy's Mackey.
Okay, let's see what's smacking Daisy.
Okay, so starts out with, my sister was too afraid to sleep one night. So, leading into it. When my sister was young, probably about 5 or 6, we had just moved into a new house as a family. My sister was always good about sleeping by herself at night, which was ironic given how I, myself, was not. But regardless, she gave our parents relatively little trouble when sleeping by herself. Except for one night. One night when she had particularly a rough time going to sleep, and she went downstairs to ask our mom if she could come and sleep with her, because little kids tend to do so. So she just got scared in the middle of the night and wanted to go and sleep with her mom.
Okay.
Her mom goes upstairs with her and lies down instead of her sleeping in her mother's bed, and then her sister falls asleep. So my sister falls asleep, but my mom is struggling to fall asleep. This is all until our dad gets in behind her, holding them both in my sister's bed. and that helps my mom fall asleep. And then they all pass out together.
Oh.
Mom wakes up, and Dad isn't in the bed anymore, which is not a big deal. That's fairly typical. They claim that their dad gets up super early to go to work most mornings and lets the mom sleep in. So she's thinking nothing of it until he gets home. And she asks him when he came upstairs to sleep with them last night. And he says that he never left their bed. He never got into bed with them. He'd been downstairs sleeping all by himself all night and wondered where she was at. So who got in bed with my mom and sister?
Oh. You know what? You know, honestly, what this makes me think of, and I think you're thinking of it too. The Bell Witch.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Are we talking about the actual Bell Witch, or are we talking about the American haunting?
Well, that's what do you mean? If you look at
that didn't happen in the Bell Witch. There's no reports of that happening.
But that's what it seems like.
In the movie, that's what happens. But there's no reports.
But if you look at the actual story, that's what it seems like as well. Why do you think the movie was based off of it?
No, in the real life story, there are people that claim to show up from town at their house in droves to come stand in her bedroom and watch her get picked up by something that wasn't there. So I don't think that
happened in the movie. She created that witch to protect herself. I don't know, man. That's got red flags all over it for me.
I don't. Okay, so if you've not seen An American Haunting, anybody out there, essentially the girl is haunted by a local witch the entire movie, but in all reality, her dad has been R-wording her, and because that's been happening every night while nobody knew about it, her emotions manifested a physical witch that was harming her and doing stuff to the family as well, but it was essentially just her emotions being so strong and her trauma.
I mean, so let's put it this way.
I don't think that's the case with this. I think that it's extremely creepy to think, oh, well, I feel like somebody's in the room with me, because you get that feeling whenever you're, like walking down a hallway or you're sitting in a room in the darkness and you kind of get that, something's watching me, which is a real sense, by the way. It's got a scientific word for it. But, so
I've got a story.
I feel like it's like that. But this is on a whole nother level. If you felt like somebody got into bed and put their arm around you, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to sleep.
Well, see, that's what freaks me out the most, is because, like I said, I know this came from Reddit, but I've got a story for you that ties in with this Reddit story. So recently, and I haven't told you about this because I've tried to ignore it, but not long ago, just maybe 3 to 4, maybe 5 days ago, I was sitting in my living room, and I'm just sitting there on my phone, checking out fucking TikTok, not paying attention, and out of the corner of my eye, it's about 6 foot tall, I see a black shadow walk through the fucking living room towards my bedroom. Walked right past me, and I felt a cold chill. And this is no lie. I'm not just saying this for the podcast. I swear on my fucking life. I've seen this shit out of the corner of my eye. And I told myself, because I've seen this late in my, in the past. And I was like, don't acknowledge it. Don't acknowledge it. And nothing's going to come out of it. But that's what I've seen. And you know what? This story it made me think of that. So what if that's the same kind of thing? What if it's something like that? Like, don't think about it. And it scared the shit out of me, and I've been thinking about it ever since. Like, literally every single day since that happened.
It could be the same thing, but the thing that's a difference here is that two people are, and depending on how the story's told, because the way that the story's told, the older sister that wrote this Reddit post was watching all of this happen. I guess they were in the same room. but she doesn't say that she watched it all happen. So if this is a firsthand account of seeing, oh, well, it looks like Dad's over there asleep on the bed with him, that changes the entire thing completely. Like if a third party is seeing the dad laying with them and they're experiencing him put his arm around him, but the dad never came up, that changes the entire thing completely. But they don't go into that detail on this specific post.
Right. So that's what made me bring it up with my experience recently, because there was one other person in the living room with me, and he's not somebody, as you may know, that if he's seen it, he's not going to bring it up because he doesn't like that kind of shit. So that's what made me think of that. And I mean, so you know what? I think this Reddit post, I believe it. I do.
Oh, well, so I'm going to file it in the likely section, which if you have heard any of our other Reddit reviews, we don't put many things in the likely section. This one, I feel like it's hard to determine right or wrong. But if you personally have felt the feeling of somebody getting in bed with you, especially if you feel like somebody's put their arm around you to where you're comfortable enough to go to sleep, you know, how many people can really argue with you about that? But this does raise a question. Was the spirit bad? Couldn't have been if they felt comfortable and went to sleep, right? Like they couldn't have got a bad feeling from the spirit.
And another thing, to any of the listeners listening, any stories you have of shadow figures, whether it's laying in the bed with you or whether it's walking by you, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
Because
As a matter of, I mean, I've had weird stuff like that happen too. So, yeah. But that's going to open up something that I wanted to point out. Anybody that's listening out there, if you would like to, this doesn't only have to be, it came from Reddit only. If any of the listeners want to submit one of their own personal experiences, you can do so by sending us an email at halloween365@yahoo.com, but you spell out the entire thing, no numbers, halloween365, and at yahoo.com. Send it to us there, and we'll gladly review them on the episode and give you a shout out and tell you if you're full of shit or if you're being haunted. Because who better to tell you than these guys right here? Huh?
Yeah. So we'll let you know if it was real life or if it came from where.
It came from Reddit.
That's because most of the stuff that comes from there, you can't trust. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll gladly classify you as a Reddit post, or if it's something that's likely. So, with all of that out of the way, now it's time to get to the real meat and potatoes of the episode. We're going to jump into our Halloween Hangover portion, which honestly, this is the part 2. We've done this episode before. And last year, actually, after our first go-around with the podcast on Halloween. And essentially, this was just us wanting to kind of reflect on the Halloween that just passed and get out the stuff that we're going to miss. We're trying to vent, get it all out, because what's coming up is going to be 3 big holidays, right? Which is fine, because if you are into Halloween, even if you don't like Christmas or Thanksgiving, the fact of the holidays happening and all the stuff that's going on with it, the advertising, the song, the food, the get-togethers, so on and so forth.
We still have Yarmulke and Hanukkah.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
So Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, all of those things happening in a 4-month time span is shocking to the system, because as soon as we hit January, it's gone. It's done. Which, in my opinion, is a lot of the reason for seasonal depression after the Burr months are done. Because you just went through all of these emotions, up, down, giving gifts, getting gifts, Thanksgiving, food, family, Halloween, candy, drinking, having fun, and then it's gone. Bam, done. For you to just sit and wait for, what, the 4th of July? I don't think anybody gets super excited about Arbor Day. Valentine's Day is a wash, so this is going to help for anybody that is going through the Halloween hangover. And what I wanted to start off with was, how was your Halloween night, since we obviously didn't provide an episode to the fans?
Ooh, my Halloween night. So my Halloween night, it was, I watched the Universal Monsters. So I did watch Frankenstein. I started off my night with Frankenstein. From Frankenstein, I went to Bride of Frankenstein, and then I went to The Mummy. And so basically, my entire night it conspired of the entire Universal Monsters. So it was me, in all honesty, drinking beer, smoking weed, watching the Halloween Monsters, and
You carved a pumpkin.
I was about to say I've carved a pumpkin. I carved the pumpkin. I'll always make it a yearly tradition, no matter what I do. Even if I carve a pumpkin before Halloween, I make sure that I save one pumpkin for Halloween night, because it's, to me, that is my personal tradition, to make me feel at home on Halloween, to be able to carve that pumpkin while I'm either listening to Halloween music, or watching some sort of Halloween movie, two. And I would have went with Halloween, like the Michael Myers Halloween, like I did last year, but I was so upset with how it ended this year, so I just went to the classic Halloween Monsters. So,
Which that's funny that it happened that way, because we did plan a Halloween episode, which was going to be Universal Horror Monsters, and during the planning for that episode, we learned a lot of interesting facts about the Universal Horror Monsters, like for the fact that
we'll get to it in the future.
Yeah,
we'll go ahead and continue with what you're saying, but that episode's coming in the future. But continue.
Yeah, so like the fact that we found out that Frankenstein actually was written before Dracula was, and Dracula was not the first writings of vampires as well.
Exactly.
Also, I personally, the consensus was, for our Universal Horror Monster episode, was which one had the best remake. That was what the whole underlining part of the episode was going to be. And just so that we can go ahead and give everybody a 2-for-1, because we did advertise it, what did you consider as a good, not even a good, what to you is the best Universal Monster remake?
So let me go ahead real quick. What do you think?
I really dabbled a lot in what was considered remake and not, because before the Universal Horror Monsters popped in, you didn't have these monsters in modern horror. So there was a part of me that was like, oh, well, that means that any Frankenstein movie, any Wolfman movie could be considered a remake. But if we're going to stick to typical remake guidelines, which is trying to redo the storyline, the original storyline, then I'm gonna have to say that it is The Mummy. Brendan Fraser. He's the Mac Daddy. And it was the best one.
And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, in the future, we'll have an episode on this in the future, but this is just a quick touch on it, and I completely agree. The Mummy is the best remake of all time.
I do want to share that we, all three of us stated that, because there was mentioning, somebody asked Brendan Fraser, since he's coming back into acting, they asked Brendan Fraser if he would be up for doing another Mummy movie if he was offered it. And he said that he was 100% ready to do it. He said that the reason that he thinks that Tom Cruise's The Mummy failed is because the Mummy movies were never about being horrified, but it was about everything else but being horrified. And he thinks that that's what his Mummy movies provided, and that's what the originals provided. So I know that all of us agree we would like to see Brendan Fraser on this podcast. We agreed that we'd like to see Brendan Fraser come back to do another Mummy movie. I only want to see it if you're going to have the original cast, plain and simple.
Yeah, Rachel Weisz has to come back.
Yeah,
It's
has
as
to come
simple
back.
as that. And I completely agree with what he said. Because if you even watch the original, like it's 1932, maybe 1933. If you watch the original, it's not about a horror aspect. It's the storytelling, and I completely agree with him 100%. We have to have that, but I also agree with what Justin said. We have to have the entire cast back together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that Brendan Fraser's coming back, and everything's okay on that front as far as like accusations and things that he was facing. The man just truly loves acting and being with his fans, which is kind of showing through in all of his interviews right now. But not to get too deep or to turn the tone of the podcast, I'm gonna flip it real quick. We did mention something that would have been super cool, is if they had just let O'Connell take on all of the Universal horror monsters. Why did they stop with the Mummy? Why didn't they just have him going after all of the Universal horror monsters? Could you imagine like the Dracula movie where he comes in contact with the Dracula or the Wolfman or the Frankenstein? It would have been, and Jonathan, and it would have been super fucking cool, dude.
Jonathan came in contact with Renfield with Dracula, and he goes, "Master,"
Exactly.
and then holy shit! I never would have thought of it like that.
They missed an opportunity. Dracula could have been the very last movie, or actually, the Mummy 2 could have been the very last movie.
No, Frankenstein would have had to have been the last, because I mean, that's the ultimate monster.
I just want O'Connell meeting and going after all of them. It would have been fucking cool, dude.
So wait, cool. A Knox in the Moon, Evie, and the Bride of Frankenstein all meeting each other. Is that what you're saying right now?
No. I'm not saying all of them in the same.
Oh, just Rick O'Connell going through and wiping them out. Oh no, this ain't no fucking Sega Genesis game.
No. A franchise of movies where where he inadvertently, while him and Evie are looking for artifacts, they run into the Wolfman. They don't have to kill him off completely. They just have to have a good ending to him. Or they're looking for another artifact, and they just so happen to be in Dracula's castle. They're like, oh, that was just a fairy tale. And then he's really in there alive. And
but if you've done that, Evie would have to run into at least one of the 3 brides of Dracula.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Definitely have her run into them, have all those things, but have the Dracula movie itself, the Frankenstein movie itself, the Invisible Man movie itself, the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Hold on. No. We can't do the Invisible Man.
Why not? You know how cool that would be to see
that movie's too fucking wild, dude.
Yeah, but he'd be getting his ass beat by the Invisible Man. And Jonathan wouldn't know what's going on. He'd be freaking out.
I don't know. This is where we need Chad on here, because I don't agree with that. I know
Chad
you and him would be fucking
agreeing.
I know, y'all would be hee-hawing over it all.
Yeah, I'd be hee-hawing. It might as well be the 1980s, because hee-haw'd be back up in this movie. I'm telling you now, I would be 100 in, take my money, take every drop that I've got. I'll watch every single one of them and cherish them. Could you imagine the box set? Universal Horror Monsters, and then it's got Rick O'Connell.
The Brendan Fraser box set of the Universal. No, dude. No.
Not. Come on.
You get me to a certain point, maybe, and then no, you kill me off with the Invisible Man.
I don't know. I think that it would be cool. I mean, maybe not the Invisible Man. Maybe just substitute the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I mean, him versus Kevin Bacon and Hollow Man, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows?
See? Maybe.
Who knows?
It's a maybe. Okay, so, yeah.
So, what did you do on Halloween?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. I was just going to say that was our take on the Universal Horror Monsters. That's hopefully going to suffice for the episode that we missed out on. That's essentially our topics and kind of what we were getting into. Now, my Halloween... we'll get into what we want to do next Halloween and the things that we wish that we'd done this Halloween in just a second. But talking about my specific Halloween, I want to say that I also like to carve a pumpkin closer to the day of Halloween just because I don't want to deal with it rotting and I want it to look nice whenever it's actually sitting outside. Uh, this was talked about, but we did not get to show anybody, so now is my chance. Uh, so I went out, bought a big pumpkin, had it sitting out in front of our place, and I didn't have it carved or anything, and I also didn't have it marked or anything. Nobody's ever stole a fucking pumpkin for me, but I had it sitting outside, and it was sitting outside my door. I go, and then I'm inside, and then my girlfriend comes in, and she's like, "Did you know that somebody stole our pumpkin?" I said, "What?" And so I go outside, and I look down, in the exact same spot where my big fucking jack-o'-lantern is this little son of a bitch. Anybody that's not able to see,
I didn't know. My God, look how small it is.
they left a pumpkin the size of probably the top of a Coke can in the place
That's
of
the size
where
of a
my
fucking
big
50
pumpkin
cent
was
piece.
at. Yeah, it's not plastic. It is real. How do I know that it is real? Because I was stubborn and pissed that my pumpkin was taken and replaced with this tiny piece of shit. So I did not go out and buy another one. Instead, I decided to just carve it.
Oh my God, I love
Carved
it.
this tiny pumpkin. See, you can even look inside of it. But I did not think through the part where I had no light that was small enough to stick inside of it. So this
No,
was
what are you gonna do?
my jack-o'-lantern for Halloween this year. Those sons of bitches, I am so pissed, and it will
Oh,
not happen to me again. Yeah, so I got robbed. Pumpkin robbed, jack-o'-lantern robbed, and it was not Stingy Jack. It was also not Samhain. The spirit of Samhain did not come back. It was probably some
no.
meth
I've
addict out
still,
here.
I've still got my pumpkin out on the porch. I'm not, after this episode, I'm putting a candle in them.
Yeah.
So,
So that
so hold on. You didn't even go get another one?
no, I was pissed. I literally, you don't understand.
What are you
So
talking about?
I live in a place where there's townhouses, and so I literally have went out several times since the pumpkin was stolen and patrolled up and down in front of these other.
I told you, come pick me up, and we'll do this together.
Looking for my pumpkin, waiting for one son of a bitch to put it out. But you know what? It was not anybody around here that stole it, because my pumpkin was not in front of any house lit up, carved. So somebody that came and visited somebody else, it could have even been the fucking DoorDash dude, fucked me
It
up.
was your
by
neighbor
replacing my
that has
fucking
those
pumpkin.
hookups.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, my neighbor.
Nobody knows where you live. Nobody knows
My
who
neighbor's
she is.
possibly selling drugs, and she.
Yeah. So fuck her. Nobody knows where you live. Nobody knows who she is. It was the bitch that fucking has hookups constantly.
Yeah,
That
she has
dude
people
said, "You
coming
know
over,
what? That's
so
a good
it
pumpkin
was,
for my kid," and he stole it.
I can't believe that they fucking stuck the small one back. That was just a big.
That's a dick move. That's
fuck you.
hey,
Yeah.
to anybody that's listening, if you ever do that, fuck you. That's a dick move.
Just take it. Just take the
Yeah.
damn thing. Don't put something back in place of it. If it was gone, I would have went out and got another one. But I was so stubborn that I decided to try to carve this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So
That's like stealing a fucking hamburger and leaving a fucking Viennese weenie can. Like,
Yeah.
you don't do that shit. Like, no.
so that happened before Halloween, but actual Halloween night, I went out and we went out to eat. We ended up getting a few treats to enjoy back at the house, and then after we got done eating, we came and just sat and watched horror movies. It started out with I think The Thing. Yeah, I finally found The Thing. Oh, and I watched I think we watched Nope, if I'm not mistaken.
Hold on, Chad's not here, and you watched two movies that he fucking brags about all the time. You watched The Thing and Nope.
I like The Thing.
I
but
love The Thing too. It's one of my favorites.
Mine not transitioned into us getting into Halloween episodes of nostalgic TV shows that we used to watch. Watch the Jimmy Neutron Halloween episode, which I haven't seen in years. And by the way, just going back on that, not to dive too deep into nostalgia, but Jimmy Neutron's animation fucking sucked. If you
dude.
look at it now,
Yeah.
it looks like a cheap computer program because anytime that they're in the middle of the town, they're in a city, by the way. It's a fucking city, and there's nobody walking the streets or the sidewalks, and you can't. I mean, it's just bad. Anyways, did a little bit of that nostalgia. I will say that where I live now, something that I've been preaching on the podcast is that Halloween is slowly dying thanks to trunk or treat and things that resemble trunk or treat. But whenever I went out on Halloween Day here, I was quite pleasantly surprised to see that there were so many trick or treaters going door to door, and there were people actually getting into the spirit of handing out candy. One man literally stood there as Michael Myers with the candy bucket beside him. You could see him because we went by this dude twice. Like, we went to the restaurant and then we went back to the house, and we had to go past his house twice, and he would stand still next to the candy bucket and until they came up and then he would jump or move and stuff like that. I even saw a few churches that were handing out candy. And something else that I saw, which I wish that we had, we had a good Halloween, a good way to experience Halloween whenever we were younger. But I saw a lot of kids on their bicycles with like their Halloween bag attached to the front, and they're in the costume and they're pedaling down streets and stuff. And I literally said out loud, like, how cool would it have been to have grown up doing that, like going on your bike with your friends, getting your candy, and then you guys go and eat it in the graveyard until it's time for you to go home.
Oh yeah,
would have been ideal as a child. So that was good to see.
Especially where we grew up, and see, so I seen kind of the opposite of what you seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know people who seen a little bit of what you seen from what I didn't see in our small town. So where you're at now, you're closer to a city.
It's yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's more populated, so that's probably the reason that you see it more. Which makes I was just gonna say, it makes us sound like madmen whenever we start spouting off about trunk or treat, because we've probably got people in cities that are like, "What do you mean? There's people running around the streets all the time."
Okay, so that's what
in rural America. There's a lot of trunk or treating going on.
Yeah, so you people that are listening to the podcast right now, and we know you are. So the thing is, we grew up in a small town to where trick-or-treating, you went all through the town. You didn't even just go all through the town. You went deep inside the valleys, and you went deep inside the countryside. So I drove through because I actually messaged you, and you were telling me about how there were bicyclers going through and you know, everything going on towards the city. And I went through the town, and there were only a few kids that were escaping from the trunk or treat. The majority of people were just at the trunk or treat. I even went to one of the most popular parts in our town, and I know you know what I'm talking about, in Maytown.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I even went through there. There was nobody. There was nobody there, and it just it broke my heart to see that. Like, it was literally trunk or treat and Main Street, nowhere else.
You would think that it would be the opposite. Like, small towns would have more door-to-door trick-or-treating, and cities would have more trunk-or-treat because of safety issues. But we're not going to turn that into the entire episode. So that was my Halloween night. Don't want to get too deep into nostalgia, but now I kind of want to know, what are the things that you did not get to do this past Halloween that you're having a hangover right now about, and that you wish that you had done?
Oh my God, I can give you a fucking list.
Well, give us a quick list. How about that? Because after that, no, you don't have to go too deep. I just want to talk about things that you wish that you had done that you didn't get to do. And I want you to follow it up with what you would like to go ahead, set in stone right now on the air, that you are going to try to achieve next Halloween.
Yeah, so to be 100%, and like I said, I'm not going deep into it. I had a shitty October. I looked forward to this month all year long. I look forward to it even more than my birthday. Had a shitty October, and the one thing I was looking forward to most is going to a haunted attraction. And I had things set up with multiple different people, and it just always fell through. It was like, it was just like a big 2x4 coming down on you. It always fell through, and and it never fucking worked. So that next year, I am definitely going to haunted attractions. If not one, but 2 or 3 or 4 multiple haunted attractions. That's the main goal next year.
Okay, so your main thing that you're trying to set in stone is just to go to to go to haunted attractions next year. Nothing else. You're not going to reach for the stars.
I mean, that was my main goal. I mean, I don't know what else to think of. Minus that, if I have enough money, I would like to get out of town. I would love to go to Salem.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
that
I
would
would
be
love to
ideal.
do something like that.
They-
If not go to Salem,
God,
go to Louisiana.
it's
I would love
rough
to go to Louisiana.
now in Salem around Halloween. I mean, they were literally in their main square, in their common square, shoulder to shoulder, all the way up against the wall. Like, that's how many people. Like, it was so many people in Salem.
Yeah, it's packed. That's why I was saying, like, that's why I mentioned Louisiana, because it's also a very haunted area in the Americas. Louisiana, maybe even Miami. I would like to go to Miami
Well, I mean,
on
there's
Halloween.
other places that are strictly Halloween. Like, there's that place that's It's in Oregon where they shot Halloween Town. Since the movie Halloween Town was shot there, every year they have that giant jack-o'-lantern in the center of the town, and they decorate the entire place like the movie, and they go all out for Halloween. There's a bunch
No,
of places.
fuck me. I would love to go there then.
Yeah, see, it would be really cool. I'll tell you where you don't want to go. You don't want to go to Texas for Halloween.
You ain't never seen hot
Yeah, because
until it gets hot in Texas.
I mean, that's just a warning from Kenneth. He's just letting everybody know.
I mean, I
But-
wouldn't mind Miami, though, because you go down there and I
Don't you know what happens on Halloween? Yeah, we get candy.
I did not mean to do that. Sorry, everybody. Not sure.
I was
what
going to say,
happened.
Miami's, it's not necessarily a Halloween place for kids
Yeah.
or a nostalgia place, but for
Yeah.
adults, I think it would be a good place to go. Miami, Salem, Oregon.
I don't know. I want to feel the
or-
feeling of Halloween. I want to feel the feeling of Halloween.
Yeah, I do too. And you know what? Actually, hold on. You know what? Next Halloween, I'm calling it out on the podcast, the Halloween 365 podcast. This year, ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling it out for me, Justin, and Chad. We're going to Waverly Hills Sanatorium
I doubt it.
next
I
Halloween.
really
No,
doubt
I'm
that.
calling it out right now. We are doing it. I am
I mean,
calling
it would
it
be
out
cool.
right now. It's happening.
It would be cool, but don't put a lot of weight.
We've
into
got a
it.
whole year to plan on it. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Which brings me to, I guess, what I personally wish. I liked my October, honestly. I mean, it wasn't like balls to the walls with nothing but Halloween and horror, but I made sure to watch a bunch of different shows and paranormal things, and the podcast really helped. And I went to the first corn maze that I've been to in a long time, and that took me back to being a kid. The corn maze was crazy, which I talked about on another episode. I don't know. It was just a lot of serotonin pumping through me. I was overjoyed being in the corn maze and smelling the smells and things like that. So I guess if I had to choose for next year, I was let down by Halloween the movie, but that's also something else we already talked about. So
Yeah,
but
fuck that movie.
next year, I think I would really like to try to strive for going somewhere for Halloween. If I can't get to
Waverly Hills.
if I can't get to the most common places that everybody would like to visit on Halloween, there is some place that I became aware of recently, which is Holiday Land. Does that pique your interest? If so,
Never heard of
Google it. Google it while I'm talking about it, Jeremy. It is a theme park for any of the listeners out there that have not seen it already. That is in Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. And they celebrate the 4 major holidays, and they separate the entire theme park into those 4 major holidays with food and decoration and rides, all themed and suited for those specific holidays. So there's a Halloween land, there's a Christmas land, there's a Thanksgiving land. It's pretty neat. That would be somewhere alternative to go
Looks
to.
like there's more than just that. Goddamn, they got. I was gonna say
Yeah.
they got multiple lands on it.
Yeah, it's a lot more than that. But then you could also go to Carowinds. Carowinds in North Carolina. They do one. Halloween Horror
Or no, I
Nights,
mean,
obviously.
no, I mean as far as holidays, they got more.
Yeah,
than
no,
what we
I'm just
mentioned.
saying like that would be other places that I would be open to going to next. I just want to do something out. I want to go and experience Halloween not in our Genoa area. Would be something that I would like to do ideally. So I'm going to push toward that. So that I don't suffer a Halloween hangover next year. Maybe, hopefully, part 2 is the last part of the Halloween hangover that we did, because maybe next year will be a better one.
Well, that's why I am calling it out right now, fans who are listening, and you can go ahead and roll your eyes again, good sir. Fans who are listening, if you want to see me and Justin and Chad. And
of course they want to see it, but there's a lot that goes into that. One,
yeah, but we could do it. We could do it. We could pull it off. If you want to see us to the Waverly Hills Sanatorium next year, you fucking mention it in the comments.
Okay, go ahead and comment if you'd like to see us go to Waverly Hills. But in all realisticness of it, we have no cameras that can film in the dark. We have nothing that's set up that would.
We got a year to do it.
Yeah. Okay. And then the price of renting out Waverly Hill to have it shut down for the night too is another thing that's going to be a big pain in the ass.
Okay, so people know you're going to get a lot of darkness.
Okay. Yeah, you probably won't get any of that. Just being completely honest with you. So I don't know what Chad would want to do next year. I can comment a little bit on just the messages that we've had back and forth since he's not here, our other host, Chad. He strictly, whenever we started off October, he said that he would like to achieve going to a few haunted houses and going to see a few horror movies in theaters. Now, he did do the horror movie part, but to my knowledge, he did not get to achieve the haunted house part. And I think one of the biggest things that he was looking forward to really spike up his Halloween fever this year was, and he mentioned it on the pod, was that he and his wife were planning on going to Halloween Horror Nights and the Harry Potter world, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, as what they were planning on doing for Halloween, which would have been, that would have been fantastic.
Top notch.
Yeah, it would have shot you through you would have been overdosed on Halloween feelings and vibes. And so he did not get to do that, obviously, since he can't even keep the internet going. No, I'm just a joke. It's a joke.
Get your shit together, Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona's fucking in with the internet right now. But everybody that is listening out there, hopefully you got to do some stuff that you enjoyed about Halloween. As you can see, I did achieve, even though I got my pumpkin stolen, I did get my Halloween bucket here, the witch, the McGobbler.
I tried. In the area I live in, they looked at me and said, "Sorry, honey, we done sold out." You fucking...
We done sold. Well, I hope that all the listeners, regardless of not having a Halloween episode from us, because I know now we've got a lot bigger fan base than we did last year. I can tell that just by the views, so I thank everybody for actually staying interested. But hopefully this made up for it, and hopefully you guys got to have a decent Halloween. And if not, if you're going through the Halloween hangover, and this episode helps you a little bit, start setting out a plan for next year. Kind of like the mayor in Halloween Town. They start planning as soon as it's done. 364, So
yeah, same. And even though I hate Nightmare Before Christmas, same thing.
Yeah, So start planning, get everything ready.
It's never too late. It is never too late to plan ahead, ladies.
It is not. It is not. And honestly, the thing that, regardless of if you have some sort of regret or depression with Halloween ending, please keep one thing in mind. It is still autumn until December 21st. So everybody hang in there, because the season is not over. It is still our season. You don't have to drift into the winter depression yet. And if you do, turn your Christmas tree into a Halloween Christmas tree. You can do different things like that to keep yourself in the mood, or just start planning things and writing those down and trying to work on how you're going to get those done. We used to do that whenever we ran a haunted house, and it honestly kept the Halloween feeling going all year. We would be like, oh, well, we would like to do this, we'd like to do that, and that's something that's good. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Or a better remedy than all of that to keep everybody not missing Halloween as much until next year is to just listen to the podcast, because every single episode that we put out is a Halloween episode. Some are not as good as others, but we're human, and we're working 9 to 5s to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like we're professionals.
And, that's what we released recently on Twitter. We let you know that just because Halloween is over doesn't mean that the spirit is over. The spirit is still here. Because if you look at the spirit of fall, all kinds of spooky things happen within the fall. And we're not done with that yet. Yeah, the snow's not falling yet. We're not done with the fall yet. The leaves are still crisp on the ground, and we got a lot of spooky stories to tell you before we touch that snow. So here we go.
Yes, because we are actually going to be taking a break. Don't know for how long, but it will be happening during the December month Christmas season. We will be taking our first break. I know that we advertise Halloween 365. We've done it for over 365 days now at this point. We've passed our mark as far as episodes go. So in order for us to plan and give you the absolute best content that we can for next year, we're going to take a short break in December. But until then, we're going to be here all through the autumn season, pumping you up and getting you ready for next year's Halloween. So, with that being said, unless Jeremy has something else to take us out on, I think that is our episode.
He doesn't believe it. Don't you know what happens on Halloween?
Well, the only thing I can think of,
Candy.
minus candy. We always think about candy.
Yeah, still don't know who she is.
Yeah. But even though we are going to take a break, we will be delivering some things on Twitter, on our TikTok.
Oh yeah,
Just little things, and Instagram. Little things here and there to
we're
lead
going to be doing all of the things that Jeremy just mentioned, and we're also going to be putting a big focus on our YouTube as well, because we have a backlog of videos, episodes that have been on Spotify, and we haven't been able to put them on YouTube. So we're going to be doing that, updating those, a lot more of those, so you can watch it if you like the video format better. We're not stopping.
Yeah.
This is... and you've got a long time until that happens. So, until then, everybody, thank you for listening. Please comment if you like the episode. Answer some of the questions in the bottom. Go follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. We have merch out. You can find the links on all of those, but the merch was going to end on Halloween. It is still out currently because we can give you a Halloween episode. So if anybody's wanting to snag anything before we shut down our merch that we've got out right now, go do so. But with that being said, I am Justin.
I am Jeremy.
Yeah, and this was the Halloween 365 podcast.
Stay spooky.